We don't know if you saw it earlier.
Definitely check it out if you can.
But we've got a big story coming up on Monday.
That's right. So, Billy and Lisa, we're going to say goodbye to you, but we're going to leave you with this. Jason actually conducted a song. Tuxedo, white dinner jacket. He was incredible.
Really?
We're going to air it Monday morning. It was phenomenal.
The other night, he conducted Sleigh Ride.
So he is a new member to the Boston Pops.
He actually is. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning. And Maestro, take it away. You've got a lot to conduct here this morning.
I do. We got a messy situation arriving for us tomorrow. We're going to have a fairly mild day again today. We'll be in the upper 40s there, very similar to yesterday. But rain and high winds we'll be talking about certainly coming up here on the stream. But enjoy the upcoming weekend. Winter solstice begins Sunday morning at 10:03, guys.
How about that? Yeah, Jason, I'm still reveling in seeing you conduct. Thanks for joining us here on WBZ. We're going to keep going on the stream, CBS News Boston.
That's right. And CBS Morning starts right now.
Now, streaming on CBS News Boston. This is WBZ News Mornings.
Right now at 7 a.m., CBS News, we're talking about wet and windy conditions outside for our Friday. We'll talk about the clash of systems moving into the region and what you can expect.
He will be caught, and it's just a matter of time before we catch him.
The search for the gunman in the Brown University shooting enters its 6th day. We'll tell you about a new person police are looking to speak to in their search for the gunman.
A pilot pulled from the wreckage of a small plane crash in the middle of a New Hampshire neighborhood, and we spoke to witnesses who saw it moments before the plane went down.
And President Trump addressing affordability, where he's placing blame for inflation and the bonus he announced for some service members.
Pretty sunrise on a Thursday. This is going to be mild. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday, December 18th. I'm Paula Eben.
And I'm Chris Tanaka. It's going to be a very different image tomorrow morning. We're going to have rain and wind on Friday. Jason Michael is here with a check of both days. Jason?
We're dealing with a little bit of a lamb outside as of right now, and that'll likely carry us through the rest of our Thursday. Chris and Paula, good morning to you, and good Thursday morning, everybody. We are talking about wet and windy conditions moving into the region over the next 24 hours. This has prompted a weather alert from your next weather team here. We're talking about a timeline anywhere between 7 and 4 p.m. tomorrow. Heavy, steady rain likely to move into the region, around a half inch up to an inch of rain. Some isolated amounts above an inch to be expected as well. We are also talking about high winds, which we got from National Weather Service yesterday. A new wind advisory poised to go into effect for tomorrow morning. This is what it looks like live on satellite and radar as of right now. You can notice the Northeast fairly quiet as of right now, but something is building across the upper Midwest. As you can see, there's snow right across the northern border there, and also energy firing out of the Gulf of Mexico. Both of these systems are going to be aligning themselves once they get over towards Appalachia overnight tonight, and we begin with some spot shower chances for us tomorrow. So an advisory for winds will be going into effect tomorrow morning. Gusty winds 50 to 60 miles per hour. Winds are calm as of right now as we start to kind of set the scene for a bit of a wet Friday for us here. Temperatures just 1 degree cooler in the city of Boston. Some areas that are out towards the Cape and the Islands also more than 10 degrees cooler as well. We have some teens, even some lower 20s there. We're right at 30 degrees in the city of Boston, down from actually 37 that we had earlier about an hour or so ago. 48 degrees. That is my forecast high for today. That's about 5 to 6 degrees warmer than the average. We'll talk much more about the rainy system tomorrow and also the upcoming weekend ahead, Chris.
All right, Jason. Well, we are now 6 days into the search for the Brown University shooter, and investigators in Providence are trying to identify this person who they say crossed paths with the previously mentioned person of interest.
And you can imagine they want to talk to him. Police have been searching through all of the videotape, looking for anything that might help them find the gunman. WBZ's Samantha Cheney is live in Providence with these latest efforts. Sam?
Good morning, Paula. Well, authorities, they have acknowledged just how frustrated, nervous, and eager a lot of residents here in Providence may be feeling right now as we enter day 6 of this search to find the gunman responsible for this shooting, and knowing that he's still out there somewhere on the loose. So they say they've tightened security, and they're now asking the public for help identifying a second person who we're told may be able to help them advance their investigation. According to the Providence Police Department, the person in these images was seen in close proximity to the primary person of interest, a man who the FBI says is about 5'8" and was caught on neighborhood cameras walking near Brown University for hours before the deadly shooting happened on Saturday. Police say the suspected gunman may have come near that second person at the corner of Benevolent and Cook Streets.
Close enough that we feel that we need to speak with them to find out because videos don't speak. If you think about it, I wish the video could speak, and then I'll have the answers that we need to, so that we can continue on this investigation. So we're trying to find out exactly what it is, and that's why we need to speak with them.
So ever since that shooting happened, the police, they have been providing us with daily updates, and today will be no different. We're told there will be a press conference happening at 4 p.m. Reporting live from Providence, I'm Samantha Cheney, WBZ News.
Of course, we will be there. Samantha, thank you. We'll keep bringing you the very latest on this investigation. Stay up to date by visiting WBZ.com or just download the CBS News app.
Well, we got some breaking news. Pope Leo has appointed a new Archbishop of New York. Bishop Ronald Hicks is currently with the Archdiocese of Joliet, Illinois. He'll replace New York's longtime Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who is retiring. Hicks is an Illinois native, just like the Pope, and New York is one of the largest archdioceses in the country. A wild scene in Nashua, New Hampshire. A small plane crashed right in the middle of a neighborhood. Bystanders rushed in to help the pilot, and one woman who was walking her dog saw it all happen.
You watched him teeter just a little bit, and then there was a big dip and turn, and then you just heard a loud bang.
Yeah, the plane clipped the roof of a house, crashed into a small parking lot, landed upside down. This all happened yesterday. Neighbors immediately ran out to see what happened, and we actually spoke to a man who helped pull the pilot to safety.
I looked inside, and I see him moving slowly, but I'm asking if he's okay, and I saw his eyes roll, and I see that he had a gash on his head.
Yeah, he told us a nurse was also at the scene and helped treat the pilot. Now, he was alert and talking when he was taken to the hospital, and police say he is expected to survive. He was the only one on the plane. Still not clear yet, however, what caused it to crash.
The Cohasset man convicted of killing his wife is set to be sentenced today. Brian Welsh will be given life without parole, which is the mandatory sentence for a first-degree murder conviction in Massachusetts. The judge is allowing victim impact statements to be read in court before sentencing, but a jury found Walsh guilty on Monday of killing his wife, Anna. Her body has never been found. WBZ has had continuing coverage of the Brian Walsh case and trial. You can watch his sentencing live at 9 a.m. right here on CBS News Boston. The Saks Fifth Avenue stylist accused of stealing more than $400,000 from the Back Bay store where he worked is set to be arraigned today. Store leaders told police Sohail Kawatra took merchandise by making fraudulent returns. He's no longer with the company. According to a police report, he left store leaders with a note during their separation meeting promising that he would pay them back.
Well, Harvard University has opened an investigation after a video was posted online. It shows Larry Summers addressing his ties to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the New York Times was first to report students are being investigated because of this. An official at Harvard did confirm with WBZ that a referral has been filed and an investigation has been launched. A spokesperson told us recording in the classroom is generally prohibited. Now, this video was posted shortly before Summers stepped down. It showed him telling students that he deeply regrets his conversations with Epstein. Of course, all of this was after a release of emails showing Summers kept communicating with Epstein after he was convicted of sex crimes. Well, President Trump last night made his case to Americans who are worried about the economy.
In a primetime address, the president defended his handling of inflation and tariffs and blamed Democrats for soaring prices. He also announced a holiday bonus for some American service members. WBZ's Anna Myler is live in our satellite center with more. Anna?
Paula and Chris, President Trump is calling them war dividends. He says that bonuses of $1,776 are going out to military members, and that number is a nod to the year the country was founded. The president also touted his economic record and blamed Democrats for bringing the economy to the brink of ruin.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen.
For about 20 minutes, President Trump addressed the nation, celebrating his efforts to curb inflation and touting his use of tariffs. He claims he has brought down soaring prices and made groceries and gas more affordable. He also promised to bring down the cost of prescriptions in the new year. However, in a new CBS News poll, 63% of respondents said the economy is bad. 76% say their income is not keeping up with inflation. The latest government data also shows that unemployment ticked up to 4.6% last month, the highest in 4 years.
Trump's America, people are being squeezed in every direction.
President Trump also noted that he will nominate a new Federal Reserve chair soon, promising to pick someone who believes in lower interest rates, quote, by a lot. Chris?
All right. Thanks for that, Anna. Well, just ahead this morning, Boston School Committee votes to close 3 city schools. We'll tell you what will happen for students and when the changes will take effect.
Plus, we'll also show you the holiday tradition hosted by a high school debate team that's gone on for decades. Nile Rodgers and Chic with Lady Gaga. Got to meet Nile Rodgers in Boston once. He does so much for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation because he has suffered from breast cancer.
No way.
Himself.
Wow.
A survivor fantastic musician and man, and he enjoyed Boston as we look at our beautiful city on a nice Thursday morning where we're going to have sun, mild temperatures today, but we got to get out in the yard, tie down your Christmas decorations because, boy, it's going to get windy tomorrow.
It definitely will be. That is actually going to be a couple things we're going to be talking about in the weather forecast here, Paula. It's actually going to be a bit of a lamb start to our Thursday and a little bit of a lamb finish as well before the lion begins to roar overnight tonight. Look at how gorgeous our sunrise is, everybody, just coming above the horizon at this hour here. We're talking about heavy, steady, wind-driven rain moving into the region over the next 24 to 36 hours. That timeline will likely impact not only just your morning rush, but also midday hours for us tomorrow. Half inch up to an inch of rain is going to be in the forecast. And as we see, some of those gusty winds are going to be pushing near 50-mile-per-hour gusts, with some areas likely to receive 60-mile-per-hour gusts as well. Two elements of concern we're watching over the next 24 hours, pulling in some moisture from areas south and also some energy from the north and west. So we're going to be talking about a tale of two seasons almost, as we start to see temperatures climb into the upper 50s for us tomorrow. Advisory also going into effect tomorrow because of the high winds you're going to have in the forecast. They're fairly light as of right now. They're kind of transitioning from the west to the southwest here. So we're going to start to kind of elevate our temperatures. But a lot of the air temperatures outside right now have kind of pulled back, largely over 10 degrees cooler from 24 hours ago. So let's set the stage of what we're expecting here for our Thursday. Teens and even lower 20s south of town right now. We're around 30 degrees in the city of Boston, and even up to about 5 a.m. earlier this morning, we were sitting at about 37 degrees here in the city. So not only have we pulled back, we're going to slingshot back into the upper 40s later today to nearing 50 degrees. After tomorrow, those actually, the dry conditions will be taking over for the upcoming weekend. So tomorrow will actually be the only rain threat that we're going to be receiving here as we march towards the Christmas holiday. Let's talk about the conditions outside overnight tonight here, friends. Look at this around 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Spot showers are going to be racing into the region 4 to 5 to 6 a.m. there. Some light showers overspreading the Mass Pike area, pushing towards the city of Boston, and then it really begins to ramp up here. I'm expecting also some rumbles out of this mess here by tomorrow morning into the early afternoon. The rain will become steady. The winds are also going to be gusty. And look at this. Even around 1 p.m., we still got some really heavy rain moving on in. As the frontal boundary pushes further out into the Gulf of Maine, colder air will be filtering back in. On the backside of the low pressure, we could actually be talking about a bit of wintry mix moving into the region. Largely dry, but also cooler for the upcoming weekend. Winter solstice starts officially on Sunday morning. We'll be in the mid-40s for the first day of winter there. The first full day of winter, unfortunately, we're going to likely be stuck in the upper 20s, Paula.
All right. Jason, thanks so much. And boy, that 60 is going to feel incredible. Well, for nearly 8 decades, there is a yearly festival that's been held in southern Mass. You might remember the ads for it from the 1970s when you were a kid. It attracts families to celebrate every holiday season. Levitt is out live at the Edaville Holiday Festival of Lights, taking us on a tour, sharing its rich history. When I was a kid, Levin, it was the only place I wanted to go this time of year.
And it's fantastic. And as we talk about the history, one of the things we get a chance to talk about is the Edaville Railroad. Ryan joins us. And how great is it to have the railroad here and reimagine what's going on here right now?
It's incredible. And again, the reimagining is wonderful, but the thing that is classic that has stayed here is this railway here. It is a diesel engine that we're running this season. It has a new first-class cabin where folks can get on the Pajama Express or a Chugga-Choo-Choo. They are delighted with stories read by characters, different people walking through the trains, and guests get to, of course, go on the trains and see all of the light displays throughout the bogs of Carver.
I've got to tell you that this brings back people to their history. Like, you know, this has been going on for over 8 decades. This is great for them to be able to kind of get that history and share it with their kids.
Yep. In 1947, Ellis D. Atwood brought these railroads to Carver, Massachusetts, and he opened up this space for families to come and visit and see all of these things, and we're delighted to carry on that tradition.
When you get here, you know who you're going to run into? You're going to run into the Clauses, because they're always here. Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Mrs. Claus, what is it like to kind of walk through this and see the little kids and just smiles on their faces?
Oh my goodness, and I said this once before, it is magical, because when you get to see what the children are engaging with you and how they are looking at everything with wonder, something that is out of the ordinary, and that's what we're here for.
And Santa, this is as magical as it can be. And by the way, you must love seeing the parents say, okay, I was able to give my kids Santa this year.
Quite honestly, there's nothing better. There really isn't. It warms my heart. It warms their hearts. Oh, it's just fantastic. It really is.
And it takes all types. And when I say that, it means you got to have the elves here. That's where Tinsel is. And Tinsel, what is it like to be a part of this? There's so many different things that they can do, whether it be ice skating and checking out the petting zoo. So many things here.
There's so many things, and this train is really the centerpiece of our little village here. And there's so many things that we can all bring to the table here. We have the Pajama Express, which is kind of more geared toward the younger ones. I like to go on there and read stories a lot. But we also have the Chugga Choo Choo, which is our 21 plus train. Mm-hmm. We have other performers like the magician that comes on this train and does a lot of tricks and stuff like that. So it's good for everybody.
Tell people how they can get here, one, and two, how long this lasts, because this is part of the season where everybody can kind of say, you know what, let me check this off my list.
Absolutely. We're here Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays until December 28th in Carver, Massachusetts. For more information, you can check us out on edaville.com. That's EDAVILLE.com.
And how much do you love this train?
I love it. It's one of those things where get on and ride that train, right?
And I would say this, Paula, like you mentioned, this is one of the things that you wanted to do when you were growing up. This is one of the things when you were a kid that you wanted to do. It's still here. So guess what? If you didn't get a chance to do it, Paula, which I know you did, but let's say you didn't, you can get on the train.
Yes.
And the train will have Santa and Mrs. Claus, and it will have, tinsel, and it will have all the families that can come through and all the kids. And by the way, when you're done, head over to the candy cane and get some candy cane. Oh, head up to the Jingle Bar and get some cookies as well.
I know. I brought my children, but I don't think they had that. It wasn't as spectacular as it is now when I brought my kids. So we got to go again. Yeah. And of course, we'll go get a candy cane.
Absolutely.
All right, love it. Thank you so much. We'll see you again in just a little bit. Just ahead this morning on CBS News Boston, the Oscars make an awfully big move, and we'll tell you how it will impact viewers. The Boston Public School Committee has approved plans to close 3 schools and reconfigure 3 others. According to the Globe, the closures will impact Lee Academy, the Community Academy of Science and Health, and the school called Another Course to College. The changes will take place during the 2027-28 school year, and these closures are part of a long-term plan to try to consolidate Boston schools. Parents, teachers, and students have protested the proposal. And this is big Hollywood news. The Oscar goes to YouTube. Starting in 2029, Hollywood's biggest night is going to stream exclusively on YouTube, ending a decades-long run on broadcast TV. The Academy has now signed a multi-year deal giving YouTube global rights through 2033. ABC will continue to air the Oscars through 2028, but industry experts say this move signals a major power shift in media as streaming platforms begin to outbid the traditional networks. YouTube says it'll introduce the Oscars to a new generation of viewers. Hey, no one hit the Powerball jackpot last night, so one ticket did sell here in Massachusetts worth $2 million. Here is a look at the numbers in case that might be you. The Powerball was 17, and the $2 million jackpot ticket was sold at Winner's Corner, appropriately named, in North Andover. The drawing for Saturday's Powerball now is $1.5 billion. Let's do it. Coming up next, new details about the next season of Survivor, the impact some celebrities could have on the big game.
You're watching WBZ News.
Survivor 49 is in the books, and the show's already looking ahead to season 50. The newly crowned winner of season 49 and another castaway will join the 24 other iconic players returning for this landmark season. Celebrity Survivor fans like Zach Brown, Billie Eilish, and Jimmy Fallon will also play unique roles. Unclear what roles those may be. We want to introduce you to the newest member of our WBZ family. Jordan Jagalinzer and her husband Jack welcomed their baby boy, also named Jack, on Monday morning. He weighed in at 8 pounds, 3 ounces. Jordan tells us everyone is doing great. What a beautiful boy. How lucky he is to have such a wonderful family. And Jordan, we miss you. Congratulations. Still to come in our next half hour, a disastrous date night in Revere. The bizarre first date two college students went on that ended in the ER. But why they're laughing about it years later.
CBS News Boston is now streaming live on our YouTube channel every morning from 7 to 10 a.m. So if you're watching us streaming on YouTube, please like and subscribe to our channel, CBS News Boston. Now, streaming on CBS News Boston, WBZ News Mornings continues with your top stories.
The son of Rob and Michelle Reiner faces a judge for their murders. What his siblings have to say in their emotional statement. Plus, 2 Hyde Park men accused of committing food stamp fraud, the scam business they allegedly ran to make millions. And a woman from Everett believes she got bed bug bites on a popular cruise ship. Why she's not satisfied with the cruise line's response. Welcome back. I'm Paula Eben. Coming up today, the son of the deceased actor Rob Reiner and his wife remains behind bars after his first court appearance on charges that he murdered his parents. Now, the judge did not allow cameras to show Nick Reiner in court. Meanwhile, the medical examiners revealing the cause of death for the beloved Hollywood couple. Jared Hill of CBS News has the latest.
Shackled and in what's known as a suicide prevention smock, 32-year-old Nick Reiner only spoke 3 words in his first court appearance when asked if he understood his rights. The judge only allowed Reiner's voice to be recorded. His arraignment on allegations he killed his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, postponed until January.
This is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family.
Outside the courthouse, Nick's attorney.
There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case.
Nick Reiner is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances and a special allegation for allegedly using a knife in the killings of his parents. The coroner reports both died from multiple sharp force injuries. Their daughter Romy discovered the bodies of the acclaimed director and his wife in the family home Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, Nick Reiner was spotted in a convenience store in downtown LA. Moments later, he was arrested by LAPD. In their first public statement since the murders, Romy, alongside her brother Jake, wrote, "Words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we're experiencing every moment of the day." Their brother Nick has openly discussed his struggles with drug addiction, though investigators have been hesitant to say whether substances or mental health struggles played a role in the crime. A motive is still unclear. Nick Reiner is being held without bail. Jared Hill, CBS News.
This Sunday night, CBS will honor Rob Reiner's life and work. You can watch the show Rob Reiner Scenes from a Life on WBZ at 8:30, and you can also stream it later on Paramount+. On this Thursday morning, beautiful sunshine on the city of Boston. Mild temperatures too, Jason, as we look toward the weekend. But Friday, boy, rainy, windy. It's going to be rough.
It's going to be pretty gross out, unfortunately, here, Paula, as we're going to be closing out our work week here. It is a gorgeous start to our Thursday morning. As my good friend Paula was just saying, everybody, we are allowing for milder temperatures to move back in as well. Very similar to yesterday, but actually I think we might get a little bit warmer. We might close in on 50 degrees, a little bit closer than what we were yesterday. 47 was yesterday's high at Logan Airport. But as we set the stage for the end of the week here, the final Friday before the Christmas holiday, we are allowing for winds to move in as well as heavy rain to move in as well, which is why we have our next weather alert in effect. We're talking about a storm to likely crisscross the country here, bringing periodic heavy rain for us on Friday. Strong winds are going to be another thumbprint of this weather system. Around a half inch up to an inch of rain to allow for some localized street flooding. So we'll be on guard for that by the time we get to midday for tomorrow as well. Damaging wind gusts prompting a wind advisory and also a high wind warning for the Cape and even the islands as well. Two systems that we're watching, both are set to marry right across the Appalachia region overnight tonight. We begin with some light spot shower chances for tomorrow, but again, we're having a lamb type of Thursday here before that line begins to roar overnight tonight. So it's a bit of a cold start to the morning, unfortunately. We've got temperatures in the teens and mid to lower 20s, around 30 degrees for Chatham, 33 degrees right now over Nantucket, 20 for the Vineyard, New Bedford, and just at the freezing mark over in Worcester. And we're just a little bit cooler here in Boston than Worcester at 30 degrees. So the forecast highs again today is going to be racing above the average daytime high, which is about 42 degrees for this time of year. We have not had this happen so far in the month of December, having back-to-back days above average. We'll talk about when cooler weather and also what your weekend will look like coming up in the weather forecast, Paula.
All right, Jason, let's take a look out on the roadways this morning in your next traffic. Here are the travel times right now. Not too bad for a Thursday morning. Everything is moving just about the way that it usually does. The federal government says that it is partially to blame for January's deadly midair collision in Washington, D.C. In a filing with the Justice Department, government lawyers say that the FAA and the military both played a role. They say air traffic controllers violated procedures and Army pilots failed to maintain vigilance before that Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines jet. 67 people were killed in the crash, including 6 with ties to the Skating Club of Boston. State leaders are once again pushing for change following the release of a special commission report on anti-Semitism in Massachusetts. This report, released earlier this month, calls for establishing an advisory council on Holocaust and genocide education. They would be responsible for tracking how schools are implementing the topics into their curriculum. The commission's also calling for the state to provide appropriate materials to teach students about conflicts in the Middle East and a statewide program for reporting any bias that might arise. State leaders met yesterday to emphasize the report following the deadly anti-Semitic attack in Australia. 2 men in Hyde Park are now facing charges for food stamp fraud. They're accused of trafficking nearly $7 million worth of SNAP benefits. Investigators say the men had 2 businesses and allegedly ran a scheme to overcharge government-funded SNAP benefits for basic items. They would then give the customer cash or alcohol in exchange while keeping a cut for themselves.
SNAP is the largest food assistance program in this country. It exists to feed families, not to bankroll criminals.
The U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts says this fraud continued because of a lack of oversight from the state. However, Governor Healy says her administration reported the suspicious activity to the federal government a year ago, and that her office added the fraud began before she took office. A first-grade teacher from Everett says she went on a dream cruise to the Bahamas over Thanksgiving that became a nightmare because of bed bugs. She says that her complaints were largely ignored.
Thanksgiving week was a breakaway from it all on board Norwegian Cruise Line's ship, Norwegian Breakaway. The 8-night cruise left from New York City to the Bahamas. But these red marks aren't a sunburn. Lynn Marie Adams says she was covered with bites from bed bugs on board.
So Sunday into Monday, when I woke up on Monday morning, is when I noticed that for my face. And then every night thereafter, there was more popping up.
Adams says she talked to the woman who cleans her room, but could not connect with a supervisor at guest services.
And anytime you try to dial 00, it would ring so much that it would start to either ring busy or disconnect. But if you were standing in line at guest services with 100 other people at any given time throughout the 8 nights, if the desk is busy, they just pick up the phone and hang it right up.
She says she didn't see a doctor on board because they demanded payment up front, which is common practice on cruise ships.
I said, I'm not paying $200 out of pocket when I'm trying to bring to your attention what could be a serious matter.
But when she got home, a telehealth visit confirmed the bites were consistent with bed bugs.
And she saw all of the bites, and she claimed that it was everything that she saw in the story behind it was consistent with bed bug bites.
Afraid of bringing them home, she followed all the recommended precautions.
So we brought spray, we went to a local laundromat, and we had to keep everything in containers in our basement and for over a week to make sure.
She tried to contact the cruise line's corporate office, but that her complaints were dismissed. The cruise line wrote in a statement, quote, "Our records indicate that this illness was never reported to our medical office or to our guest relations desk," unquote. It continued that whenever illnesses are reported, medical staff makes every effort to attend to them.
That was WBZ's Lisa Hughes reporting, and Adams, who's taken many cruises over the years, says that she's now seeing a psychologist to deal with the emotional toll this vacation has taken on her mental and physical health. When we come back, we'll show you the holiday tradition hosted by a high school debate team. Jason, you are the sunshine of our lives here on a Thursday morning, bringing us sun, mild temperatures. It's really going to be a lovely day for December in Boston. And then comes the rain.
Then comes the rain. We're just going to have to kind of wash things out of here. We got to get some of that ugly snow that we had earlier this week on out. So let's talk about the sunshine, friends, that we have on deck for us here later today. We are allowing for warmer than average temperatures. We broke the streak yesterday. We were cold earlier this week. Yesterday, we topped at around 47 degrees. And I think today we'll make our march towards 50 degrees, which is excellent news for us here. Before the rain arrives, though, we're going to have a bit of a lamb type of day here for us on this Friday Eve. Overnight rain will begin to kind of tiptoe back in, so we'll have a little bit of a wet start, but certainly by midday tomorrow, we're going to be dealing with some pretty steady rain moving on in. So enjoy the nice and quiet conditions that we have on set for us here this morning. 20s and even lower 30s outside right now. We got a pair of threes out on Nantucket right now. Down in the Vineyard, a very chilly 20 degrees along with Bedford, 29 up in Lawrence, 30 degrees over in Fitchburg. And for our friends north of the border, 18 to 20 degrees for Keene and also Nashua, respectively. We'll all be making our march, as I mentioned earlier, towards 50 degrees later today. It's going to actually feel like spring before the winter begins to move back in by the end of the week, heading towards the weekend here. We should be around 42 degrees for this time of year, so this is why we're going to be above average yet again. Here's what it looks like in terms of winds as of right now. Winds are fairly light, and to be honest with you, they're kind of varied all over the map as of right now. That advisory for winds will be going into effect for tomorrow morning through the afternoon. Gusty winds around 50 to 55 plus miles per hour. The only sort of wet day that we have is actually going to be tomorrow. It falls off considerably for Saturday, Sunday, and also Monday of next week. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast. Notice this as we start the clock there around 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. We get ready to say good morning to you around 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Still going to be largely dry for the most part, and then a lot of the rain showers along with these southerly winds will be moving on in here around mid-morning for us tomorrow. Rain showers will be steady at times, fairly isolated with some heavier rain as well. We have those south winds going to be racing up here, elevating the temperatures around noon. And I think around noon, we could actually be kissing 60 degrees in several locations south of the Mass Pike region. There's the frontal boundary, begins to push off the coast there around 2 to 3 tomorrow evening. Westerly winds will be filtering back in. Colder conditions will be taking over. And I believe by bedtime tomorrow evening, we could actually have a threat of some flakes, perhaps some ice, and also perhaps some wintry mix. So if you're going to be going out on the town tomorrow evening, certainly for a late dinner, perhaps even going out to enjoy yourself, maybe even take in some holiday lights, just be mindful that, again, we're going to have some slippery conditions around the region. And winds are, for the most part, still going to be gusty as well. Let's talk about those winds. In fact, this is noon tomorrow. We'll be around 50 to 55 mile per hour gusts for the Cape and even the Islands territory. And as we look at the city and also the South Shore, and let's also include the North Shore as well, we're still going to be gusting around 30 miles per hour here in the city around 5 p.m., 11 p.m. tomorrow evening, still fairly gusty. So today is the day to properly secure some of the holiday lawn items. So just make sure that they don't become your neighbor's problem, as I often joke here. We'll be in the lower 40s for us on Saturday, much cooler, much drier. Winter solstice officially begins on Sunday. It seems like it began as soon as the month of December began. And as we see here, another very cold Arctic blast lies ahead for us on Monday. That is the coldest day of the next 7 before we start to warm up Christmas Eve next Wednesday, Paula.
Ooh, Christmas Eve. All right, Jason, thanks. This holiday season, a group of high schoolers is working awfully hard to host one of the biggest speech and debate events in the state. I met up with the students and their coaches to learn more about this beloved festive tradition of the Holly Festival. It happens here, Natick, home of Heisman Trophy winner and one-time Patriot Doug Flutie, Casey's Diner, and the first factory to ever make baseballs in the U.S. Another point of pride, the high school speech and debate team. They're getting ready for their biggest event of the year, the Holly Festival. And these kids aren't just competing, they put the entire thing together.
As we lead up to the tournament, I have a lot of planning on what the students will do on the night when we set up for the Holly, what the students' teams look like, how many people are going to be sent to what floors.
That's Doris Yu, Natick High Senior and Team Vice President.
The most important thing is to prefer tangible impacts.
She's also Holly Chair, making sure the holiday-themed event, which has been going strong for more than 6 decades, goes off without a hitch. No easy feat, with 700 to 800 students from around the state and beyond. Filling the hallways and classrooms of Natick High one Saturday, every December, vying for first place in categories ranging from congressional debate to reading children's literature. It's a lot of work, but the team lives for it.
My absolute favorite is setting up the auditorium. It's such a cool moment. It takes a long time, a lot longer than you would think, and it's so pretty, and it just really brings the holiday magic.
The holiday magic doesn't just stop with the stage. Some of the tournament's trophies are actually nutcrackers. The team gets them ready to go.
Hot glue is easiest for that.
With a little help from their coaches, who, by the way, aren't teachers, they're volunteers.
I was a member of the speech and debate team in the 1980s. I am still here today because of that, because it gave me a home when I was looking for one, and it gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of different people and to find out, where were my skills? What do I do well?
Head coach Sarah Donnelly isn't the only person with a decades-long commitment to Natick speech and debate. You're all alumni, all the coaches of this team.
We are, yes.
What do you think that says?
I think it speaks to the strength of the program and how much it did for us.
The coaches' support has students doing a double take.
There are times when it truly surprises me when it's the bottom of a 15-hour day and I'm like, wow, these 3 people are here and they're here for us. They're here to see us succeed.
That kind of dedication is what makes the team and the Holly so special.
To be able to bring all of these people together to not just compete but celebrate that we do compete is my favorite thing about the Holly.
Right now, the Natick High speech and debate team is very busy with last-minute holiday preparations. This year's Holly Festival is just 2 days away. Well, most people have a bad first date story or two, but they don't typically end in the emergency room. What started out as dinner and a walk on Revere Beach took a rough turn, as WBZ News Radio's Matt Shearer explains.
This is crazy. Rachel Zelenka has one of the wildest first date stories you'll ever hear that started here on Revere Beach and ended in the emergency room here at Mass General Hospital.
I didn't think I was in danger.
But really, the story doesn't just start on Revere Beach. It starts in a much darker place.
I met this guy through MySpace.
It was a long time ago.
And eventually decided to meet up for a date.
So after a quick dinner, he thought he'd treat her to a romantic walk along the beach.
And we were just walking and we come upon this jetty. That jetty right there.
It's hard to imagine it now just because the water is so high, but at low tide, you really can walk all the way out there.
And we sit and we're talking for a while until it gets cold and we're like, all right, let's go get some hot chocolate.
But there was a problem.
The tide had come back in and we were completely surrounded by ocean.
I did the measurements. It's 350 yards from the closest point of shore. So basically they had 2 options. 1, call for help right away. Or 2,
I stepped in first.
Try and wade back in nearly waist-deep water in freezing temperatures.
And I start to notice my shoes floating in the water next to me.
That's when they had to give up. They were only halfway, but their legs were completely numb. They kept tripping, getting scraped.
We climb up onto this rock. He calls 911, and I think the Coast Guard called him. 2 guys come out to us with a little boat. They throw a rope to us. We get put in the ambulance. We get diagnosed with stage 1 hypothermia.
Okay, before we go any further, I feel like we're missing a really important perspective. Who is this dream boat that came up with the brilliant idea to take a girl to Revere Beach at 10 o'clock at night in the middle of winter? Well, I found him, and he's nice enough to come out and meet us today. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. It's true. It was me. God, I'm sorry.
No, honestly, I think that you did mention, like, should we call for help? And I was like, no, we're just doing this.
I'll never forget that feeling of being on the shore, watching my date get put in a stretcher, and I was in a wheelchair.
Oh my God.
That's when I thought, like, I really screwed up. I was a little chivalrous. I gave you my coat. I do remember that.
Yes, you did, because I remember I didn't even bring a coat.
Yeah, that's true. You were out there in a hoodie.
I was wearing a hoodie. Yeah.
So now for the elephant in the room. Does our story have a happy ending? And I would say kind of.
Yeah.
That was actually the start of a 2-year relationship, and it was a fun time. But especially in college, eventually you start moving in different directions in life, and we moved on. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings at all. No, I can honestly say, like, when people ask me what you're like as a person, I'm like, what you're seeing is what you're getting. He's a genuinely good person. I have nothing bad to say about him. Like,
thank you.
Yes.
Likewise.
Turns out nothing brings people together like a shared near-death experience.
We never did go get that hot chocolate.
No, we didn't.
But as we both learned many years ago, tides change. And even if we both washed up on different shores, we're where we're supposed to be, not out there. From Revere, I'm Matt Shearer. For more, ask Alexa to play WBZ News Radio on iHeartRadio.
The best thing about that story is how lovely they are to each other. Even after a 2-year relationship, that is impressive. Well, coming up right after the break, a dream come true for WBZ meteorologist Jason Michael conducting with the Boston Pops.
It Happens Here is brought to you by Safety Insurance. We'll help you manage life's storms.
All right, check out that white jacket. This week, Jason Michael got to live out his dream of being a conductor with the help of the Boston Pops. How many people get to do that? He took the stage leading Sleigh Ride for the orchestra. This is part of our Never Too Late series, which you can see the full story Monday on WBZ Mornings. Of course, Holiday Pops have shows every day through Christmas Eve. Jason, people might not realize you were a band conductor for years. How did it feel?
Oh my gosh, it felt like everything that I have achieved up until this point came full circle. There were many surprises that happened that night. I got 2 gifts from Keith Lockhart that I will have forever. But it was just an amazing experience, and they are the most professional organization.
Well, they're world class, and you led them, and you look so good doing it, too. We're so proud of you. Thank you. And you're watching CBS News Boston. We'll be back right after the break. First, here's a look at what's ahead at 8 o'clock. The Patriots dealing with some injuries as they try to beat the Ravens, and a new lead in the search for the gunman who opened fire on the campus at Brown. The individual police are hoping to speak to, who they believe crossed paths with the person of interest. That's all coming up at 8. Stay with us. We'll be back with more news. And Jason has your next weather forecast.
Oh, good morning, everybody. 4 minutes now to 8. What a delightful Thursday we will have before rain and wind move in overnight tonight to impact your Friday. We'll be around the mid to upper 40s for us today. And look at the temperatures. That's not a typo. We're going to be climbing to around 60 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be a windy afternoon, though, which is why we have our next weather alert in effect, along with the wind advisory. Cooler, drier for the upcoming weekend. And we say hello to winter officially this upcoming Sunday, Paula.
All right. Jason, thanks so much. Our top story. One person is in the hospital after an SUV SUV was hit by gunfire and then crashed into a construction site in Roxbury. Officers responded to the scene, Washington Street, about 9 o'clock last night. Just a few minutes later, a man walked into the police station with a gunshot wound. No word on his condition this morning. CBS Mornings continues now next here on WB.
Right now at 8, wet and windy conditions poised to move on in to impact your Friday. We'll talk about the latest and, of course, the timeline.
He will be caught, and it's just a matter of time before we catch him.
Police following a new lead in their search for the Brown University shooter, their latest plea to the public. And a small plane crashes in a New Hampshire neighborhood. We are hearing from the man who helped pull the pilot to safety.
Now, streaming on CBS News Boston. This is WBZ News Mornings.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It is Thursday, December 18th. I'm Brianna Pitts. Rising temperatures and a lot of rain coming our way has us in an alert. Jason Michael has your next weather forecast.
It is a calm start to our Thursday morning on this Friday Eve, everybody, and we're expecting lamb-like conditions for the remainder of our Thursday before a line begins to roar overnight tonight. So let's talk about what we're going to be tracking here. We do have that next weather alert in effect because of heavy and also steady rain and also high wind gusts we're expecting here. Periodic heavy rain will be likely moving into the region beginning overnight tonight. We start fairly light by tomorrow morning for the morning rush. And as we move towards midday, the rainfall will become steady. We also have astronomical tides running fairly high for this upcoming weekend, so some localized street flooding will likely accompany some of the heavy rain, and damaging wind gusts are also going to be in the forecast as well. So it's going to be a windswept, rainy type of Friday here. 2 areas of concern across the lower 48 that we're watching. A lot of energy firing out of the Gulf Coast region there, poised to move north and also east, and also in the upper Midwest. We're watching snow showers on the north side of the system, as well as some rain showers pulling on in. Both systems are expected to marry right across Appalachia as we go to bed overnight tonight to pull in some of those steady rain gusts that we're going to be expecting for tomorrow. Mainly dry and also sunny for our Thursday here. Current temperatures are just above the freezing mark in the city, and as we see north and west of town, lower 20s as well over in Bedford. You can see there New Bedford coming in about 25 degrees, 26, 1 degree warmer over in Hyannis, and in the mid 30s out on Nantucket. We'll talk much more about this rainmaker for tomorrow, and also talk about the final weekend before the Christmas holiday coming up.
Well, we are now 6 days into the search for the Brown University shooter. Investigators in Providence have a new lead. They're now trying to identify this person who crossed paths with the person of interest. Police have been searching through video looking for anything that might help them solve the shooting. WBZ's Samantha Cheney is live in Providence with the latest efforts there. Sam.
Good morning, Brianna. Well, as you said, 6 days into this investigation and the ongoing search to find that shooter, authorities, they've acknowledged just how frustrating the situation can be for a lot of the residents in this area who have now become nervous and eager knowing that this person is still out there on the loose. So police, they have tightened security in the area, and now they're asking for the public's help identifying a second person who they believe may be able to help them advance their investigation. According to the Providence Police Department, the person in these images was seen in close proximity to the primary person of interest. This man, who the FBI says is about 5'8" and was caught on neighborhood cameras walking near Brown University for hours on Saturday before the deadly shooting happened. Police say the suspected gunman may have come near that second person at the corner of Benevolent and Cook Streets.
Close enough that we feel that we need to speak with them to find out because videos don't speak. If you think about it, I wish the video could speak, and then I'll have the answers that we need to, so that we can continue on this investigation. So we're trying to find out exactly what it is, and that's why we need to speak with them.
Now, ever since this shooting happened, police, they have been providing us with daily updates, and we're told today is no different. There will be another press conference at 4 p.m. Live here in Providence, I'm Samantha Cheney, WBZ News.
We will keep bringing you the latest on the investigation. You can stay up to date by visiting WBZ.com or downloading the CBS News app. And breaking news, Pope Leo has appointed a new Archbishop of New York. Bishop Ronald Hicks is currently with the Archdiocese of Joliet, Illinois, and he will replace New York's longtime Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who's retiring. Hicks is an Illinois native, just like the Pope. New York is one of the largest archdioceses in the country. Well, a wild scene in Nashua, New Hampshire. A small plane crashed in the middle of a neighborhood. Bystanders rushed to help the pilot. One woman out walking her dog saw it happen.
You watched him teeter just a little bit, and then there was a big dip and turn, and then you just heard a loud bang.
How the plane clipped the roof of a house before crashing into a parking lot, landing upside down yesterday. Neighbors immediately ran out to see what happened. We spoke to a man who helped pull the pilot to safety.
I looked inside, and I see him moving slowly, but I'm asking if he's okay, and I saw his eyes roll, and I see that he had a gash on his head.
Well, he told us a nurse was also at the scene and helped treat the pilot. He was alert and talking when he was taken to the hospital. Police say he's expected to survive. He was the only one on the plane. It's not yet clear what caused it to crash. Well, the Cohasset man convicted of killing his wife is set to be sentenced today. Brian Walsh will be given life without parole, the mandatory sentence for a first-degree murder conviction. The judge is allowing victim impact statements to be read in court before sentencing. A jury found Walsh guilty on Monday of killing his wife, Anna. Her body has never been found. WBZ has had continuing coverage of the Brian Walsh case, and you can watch his sentencing live at 9 a.m. right here on CBS News Boston. Well, the Saks Fifth Avenue stylist accused of stealing more than $400,000 from the Back Bay store where he worked is set to be arraigned today. Store leaders told police that Suhal Kawatra took merchandise by making fraudulent returns. He's no longer with the company. According to a police report, he left store leaders a note during their separation meeting promising to pay them back. Harvard University has opened an investigation after a video was posted online. It shows Larry Summers address his ties to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The New York Times was the first to report that students are being investigated over the video. An official at Harvard confirmed for WBZ that a referral has been filed and an investigation has been launched. A spokesperson told us recording in the classroom is generally prohibited. The video was posted shortly before Summers stepped down. It showed him telling students that he deeply regrets his conversations with Epstein. This was after the release of emails showing that Summers kept communicating with Epstein after he was convicted of sex crimes. Well, President Trump made his case to Americans who are worried about the economy. In a primetime address, the president defended his handling of inflation and tariffs and blamed Democrats for soaring prices. He also announced a holiday bonus for some American service members. WBZ's Anna Myler is live in our satellite center with more. Anna.
Brianna, President Trump is calling them war dividends. He says bonuses of $1,776 are going out to military members. That number is a nod to the year the country was founded. The president also touted his economic record and blamed Democrats for bringing the country to the brink of ruin.
11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen.
For about 20 minutes, President Trump addressed the nation, celebrating his efforts to curb inflation and touting his use of tariffs. He claimed he has brought down soaring prices and made groceries and gas more affordable. He also promised to bring down the cost of prescriptions in the new year. However, in a new CBS News poll, 63% of respondents said the economy is bad. 76% say their income is not keeping up with inflation. And the latest government data shows that unemployment numbers ticked up to 4.6% last month, the highest in 4 years.
Trump's America, people are being squeezed in every direction.
President Trump also noted that he will nominate a new Federal Reserve chair soon, promising to pick someone who believes in lower interest rates by, quote, a lot. Brianna?
All right, Anna, thank you. Well, a GOP bill that would expand some health plans and lower premiums for some Affordable Care Act enrollees has been passed by the House and now will go to the Senate. It does not directly address the ACA tax subsidies expiring on December 31st, leaving millions of Americans with skyrocketing health care costs. That omission caused 4 Republicans to cross party lines and help Democrats force a vote over extending the subsidies. It's set to happen next month. No one hit the jackpot in last night's Powerball, but one ticket sold here in the state is worth $2 million. Here's a look at your numbers here. 25, 33, 53, 62, and 66. Powerball was 17. That $2 million ticket was sold at Winner's Corner in North Andover. The drawing for Saturday's Powerball, $1.5 billion. Just ahead this morning on CBS News Boston, the son of Rob and Michelle Reiner facing a judge for their murders, what his siblings said, and their emotional statement.
WBZ's Next Weather Alert is brought to you by Safety Insurance.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about the conditions that we have on deck for us here over the next 24 hours. This is a beautiful start to our Thursday morning on this Friday Eve. Lots of sunshine outside, fair weather clouds dancing across the skies later today as well. And as temperatures begin to warm up steadily, we're going to have another day of being well below average, at least well above average, I should say. The timeline for rain and also wind begins to arrive for us overnight tonight. Between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m., we're expecting some heavy and also steady rain showers to move back in. The windshield wipers are going to be running rampant as well. Around a half inch of rain and up to an inch of rain. It's going to be expected there along with gusty winds. So we have some very interesting weather conditions going to be kind of getting back into our food bowl for tomorrow. Overall, daytime highs yesterday soared above average, about 5 degrees above average to be in fact. 47 degrees at Logan Airport, 42 is the average for this time of year here. Two systems that we're watching here, friends. One's going to gobble up a lot of energy from the Gulf Coast there, and another one is going to be racing across the northern tier of the country. Both are set to marry and to ignite some pretty steady rain. But as of right now, mainly dry, mainly clear, and a bit chilly outside as well. What's going to happen is we're going to start to dial up our winds within the next 12 to 16 hours. Winds are going to start to be gusty, around 20 to 25 miles per hour. And as the system begins to move a little bit closer to home, we begin with some very scattered showers overnight after the midnight hour through at least about 4 to 5 a.m. Onward through about sunrise tomorrow morning, which is just about 10 minutes after 7, we're going to start to see those steady rain showers begin to move back in. Frontal boundary begins to exit the region around mid-afternoon tomorrow between 2 and 3 p.m. Colder air from the west with westerly winds begin to filter back in, and that'll cool conditions down and also ignite a couple areas of some wintry mix. We're just above the freezing mark as of right now. A thin layer of ice out on the Charles River. Winds are fairly light and also extremely varied again this morning. 21 right now in Bedford, just above the freezing mark here in Boston. 10 degrees cooler for the South Shore down in Plymouth. A pair of 3s right now over in Chatham, and the upper 20s also over in Worcester. Daytime highs again today. We should be around 42 degrees. Don't forget that. 48 is going to be my forecast high today. And even if we make it to 50 degrees, I don't think you're going to have any complaints. Wind advisory again going into effect for tomorrow morning through the afternoon there. High wind warning for the Cape and the islands also going into effect. And this is why. We're going to be talking about those rain showers moving on out, but also a tale of two seasons moving on in. Here's a closer look at the forecast again for tomorrow. Keep an eye on the clock in your place on the map. Steady winds racing out of the south there. Frontal boundary will ignite a few rumbles across the board. High noon, pretty steady rain inside 495. And again, we're expecting some rumbles just as the frontal boundary pushes through the city around mid-afternoon, 2 to 3 to 4 p.m. Drier, but also cooler air begins to move on in as well. A couple areas of some wintry mix likely as the low begins to wrap on out. But again, with that high wind warning in effect, you can see there around noon tomorrow, we're talking about 50 to 55 plus mile per hour gusts for the Cape and even the islands. 7-day forecast. Okay, we are expecting again conditions to ripen up as we're expecting conditions to be right around the 60-degree mark again for us tomorrow. And as we start to see the long-term track, looks like we're going to be dry as we head towards Christmas Eve next Wednesday and Christmas Day next Thursday, Brianna.
Well, the son of Rob and Michelle Reiner made his first court appearance yesterday, the same day that his siblings broke their silence about their parents' murder. Nick Reiner faced a Los Angeles judge wearing shackles and a suicide smock. He did not enter a plea on the 2 murder charges he's facing. His attorney, Alan Jackson, successfully argued that Reiner's arraignment be delayed until January, citing complex and serious issues with the case. Nick is accused of stabbing his parents to death in their home. Their bodies were discovered on Sunday. In their statement, the Reiners' 2 other children said in part, "We now ask for respect and privacy, for speculation to be tempered with compassion and humanity, and for our parents to be remembered for the incredible lives they lived and the love they gave." Well, this Sunday night, CBS will honor Rob Reiner's life and work. You can watch Rob Reiner's Scenes from a Life on WBZ at 8:30 or stream it later on Paramount+. The Boston Public School Committee has approved plans to close 3 schools and reconfigure 3 others. According to the Globe, the closures will impact Lee Academy, the Community Academy of Science and Health, and another course to college. The changes will take place in the 2027-2028 school year. The closures are part of a long-term plan to consolidate Boston schools. Parents, teachers, and students have protested the proposal. Well, for nearly decades, a yearly festival in Southern Mass has been helping families celebrate the holiday season. Levin is out live at the Edaville Holiday Festival of Lights. He's taken us on a tour to share its rich history. Hey, Lev.
Hey, what's going on, Brianna? And, we get a chance to walk through so many different things here at the Edaville Holiday Festival of Lights. one of the great spots is this place right here. What is this?
This is my den, Santa's den.
We're in Santa's den, and this is where all the kids kind of line up and they come through and they get a chance to meet Santa. We're going to kind of walk you through what happens here. But first and foremost, talk to me about Santa's, the list that the kids give you and everything that's here.
Well, it's pretty amazing. A lot of the children, they'll take the time at home and write their own list. And I love this one in particular. The very bottom, I want everybody to have a happy Christmas.
That's wonderful.
What is better than that? Oh,
Absolutely.
my goodness. It's fantastic. And Mrs. Claus over there, she has all of our children fill out these cards.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come to Santa's couch, they can sit down. We can have a discussion about what they want for Christmas. And then there's a little mailbox they put in, which goes to the North Pole.
Doesn't that take you back to make you feel good that kids, the magic that they believe, like, these kids want, big trucks and different things that they want?
And they want 3D printers today. I can't believe it. Oh, my goodness.
It's a big change.
But you know what? You look in the eyes and you see the wonderment and you see the joy and just the sheer excitement of meeting Santa, Mrs. Claus, the holiday lights. And there's just something special about this time of year.
I got to tell you, when you're walking through this line and you get a chance to see, they don't immediately run into you. Mrs. Claus is kind of let's say the firewall, as you want to say, to make sure that everything goes. And she has what she has there, a naughty list?
I do have my naughty list. And so I have to make sure that any of the children that come up are not on the naughty list so they can go through to see Santa.
And when they get through to see Santa, they come through here, and this is kind of where the kids kind of gasp. Because you're sitting down, they get a chance to sit down with you and basically say, hey, Santa, this is exactly what I want. What is it like to be in that situation for yourself?
Exactly like this. So I'll sit down and say, what is your name? And they'll tell me their name, and I'll ask them if they think they've been on the nice list. And they always have it. And then I'll ask them, what would you like for Christmas? And oh my goodness, I get so many different requests.
Sure.
3D printers. A little child asked me for an octopus the other day, believe it or not.
Really? Is there a curve? Can I be bad early and then like around 7 or 8, I get to be a good kid?
Yeah. In your case, I'm not sure. We'll work on that. But I heard you're on the nice list, so hip hip hooray for you. Oh my goodness.
You know what, Brianna? I've done a couple of these Santas this week. You know why? Because I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that I'm on the nice list everywhere. All the elves, all the money that I've given them over the year. Shh. Sorry, Sam, you weren't supposed to hear that. They understand that it's for always.
Yeah, love, you gotta confirm with multiple sources. I totally get it. Very smart of you. All right, just ahead this morning on CBS News Boston, a high school speech and debate team is going all out this holiday season. Paula Eben introduces you to the students and the coaches getting ready for their big tournament, and she's going to show you what makes it so special. This holiday season, a group of high schoolers is working hard to host one of the state's biggest speech and debate events. Paula met up with the students and their coaches to learn about the festive tradition of the Holly Festival.
It happens here, Natick, home of Heisman Trophy winner and one-time Patriot Doug Flutie, Casey's Diner, and the first factory to ever make baseballs in the U.S. Another point of pride, the high school speech and debate team. They're getting ready for their biggest event of the year, the Holly Festival. And these kids aren't just competing, they put the entire thing together.
As we lead up to the tournament, I have a lot of planning on what the students will do on the night when we set up for the Holly, what the students' teams look like, how many people are going to be sent to what floors.
That's Doris Yu, Natick High Senior and Team Vice President.
The most important thing is to prefer tangible impacts.
She's also Holly Chair, making sure the holiday-themed event, which has been going strong for more than 6 decades, goes off without a hitch. No easy feat, with 700 to 800 students from around the state and beyond, filling the hallways and classrooms of Natick High one Saturday every December, vying for first place in categories ranging from congressional debate to reading children's literature. It's a lot of work, but the team lives for it.
My absolute favorite is setting up the auditorium. It's such a cool moment. It takes a long time, a lot longer than you would think, and it's so pretty, and it just really brings the Holly magic.
The holiday magic doesn't just stop with the stage. Some of the tournament's trophies are actually nutcrackers. The team gets them ready to go.
Hot glue is easiest for that.
With a little help from their coaches, who, by the way, aren't teachers, they're volunteers.
I was a member of the speech and debate team in the 1980s. I am still here today because of that, because it gave me a home when I was looking for one, and it gave me an opportunity to meet a lot of different people and to find out, where were my skills? What do I do well?
Head coach Sarah Donnelly isn't the only person with a decades-long commitment to Natick speech and debate. You're all alumni, all the coaches of this team.
We are, yes.
What do you think that says?
I think it speaks to the strength of the program and how much it did for us.
The coaches' support has students doing a double take.
There are times when it truly surprises me when it's the bottom of a 15-hour day and I'm like, wow, these 3 people are here and they're here for us. They're here to see us succeed.
That kind of dedication is what makes the team and the Holly so special.
To be able to bring all of these people together to not just compete but celebrate that we do compete is my favorite thing about the Holly.
Right now, the Natick High speech and debate team is busy with the last-minute Holly prep. This year's festival is just 2 days away. Coming up next, a special menorah bringing a community together on the 4th night of Hanukkah.
It Happens Here is brought to you by Safety Insurance. We'll help you manage life's storms. You're watching WBZ News.
Well, families gathered for a different kind of Hanukkah celebration in Needham. The community was invited to help light a menorah made entirely of ice. Last night marked the fourth night of the Jewish holiday. The rabbi leading the celebration says visible celebrations of Hanukkah are important now more than ever, especially after the anti-Semitic attack in Australia.
People are I think, invigorated and strengthened to come together and to stand up tall and be proud of who they are.
Well, the Needham Police Department provided enhanced security for last night's menorah lighting. Still to come in our next half hour, an Everett woman who believes that she got bed bug bites on a popular cruise ship and why she's not satisfied with the cruise line's response.
Now, streaming on CBS News Boston, WBZ News Mornings continues with your top stories.
Right now on CBS News Boston, wet and windy conditions poised to move on into the region. Could it be impacting your Friday morning commute? We'll talk about this next weather alert and what it means for you.
Plus, two Hyde Park men accused of committing food stamp fraud, the scam business they allegedly ran to make millions. And the Patriots dealing with injuries as they gear up to try and beat the Ravens. Welcome back. I'm Brianna Pitts. We are in an alert for some unseasonably warm weather. That's going to come, though, with some incoming wind and rain. We'll check in with Jason Michael to see what we can expect for the rest of the week and the weekend.
It has been a very interesting month of December thus far. It's also going to become even more interesting as well as we near the final end to the week before the Christmas holiday arriving for us next week, everybody. Sensational sunshine arriving for us on this Friday Eve here. And we're also talking about temperatures soaring above average yet again. We broke the streak just yesterday at 47 degrees at Boston Logan. We also had 44 degrees over in Worcester, 1 degree warmer in northern Mass yesterday, and 46 to 47 out on the Cape. In terms of the average for this time of year, we should be around 42 degrees for a daytime high. 29 is the average low temperature for today's date there, December 18th there. 64 was the record set back in 2000. We have two areas of concern over the next 24 hours that will impact your Friday largely through midday for us tomorrow. We're talking about rain moving on in and also very warm temperatures. As of right now, the conditions are ripe for a very nice and also a stable Thursday for us here before the unsettled weather begins to move back in. This is the clock. Even around 7 p.m. later on this evening here, expecting clearing skies. Cloud cover will likely be raking on in after midnight tonight. We begin our Friday morning with some very light and also spotty rain showers. But after we get past sunrise tomorrow, more steady rain begins to move back in as that frontal boundary passes through the region early tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about what's going to happen behind the system and also, of course, your weekend just ahead.
Well, 2 Hyde Park men are now facing charges for food stamp fraud. They are accused of trafficking nearly $7 million worth of SNAP benefits. Investigators say the men had 2 businesses and allegedly ran a scheme to overcharge government-funded SNAP benefits for basic items. They would give the customer cash or alcohol in exchange while keeping a cut for themselves.
SNAP is the largest food assistance program in this country. It exists to feed families, not to bankroll criminals.
The U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts says this fraud continued because of a lack of oversight from the state. However, Governor Healey says her administration reported the suspicious activity to the federal government a year ago, and her office added that the fraud began before she took office. The federal government says it is partially to blame for January's deadly midair collision in Washington, D.C. In a filing with the Justice Department, government lawyers say the FAA and the military both played a role. They say air traffic controllers violated procedures and Army pilots failed to maintain vigilance before the Black Hawk helicopter and American Airlines jet collided. 67 people were killed in the crash, including 6 with ties to the Skating Club of Boston. Well, state leaders are once again pushing for change following the release of a special commission report on anti-Semitism in Massachusetts. The report released earlier this month called for the establishment of an advisory council on Holocaust and genocide education. They would be responsible for tracking how schools are implementing the topics into their curriculum. The commission is also calling for the state to provide appropriate materials to teach students about conflicts in the Middle East and a statewide program for reporting any biases that may arise. State leaders met yesterday to emphasize the report following the deadly anti-Semitic attack in Australia. Well, a first-grade teacher from Everett says she went on a dream cruise to the Bahamas over Thanksgiving, but it became a nightmare because of bed bugs, and she says her complaints were mostly ignored. WBZ's Lisa Hughes has more.
Thanksgiving week was a breakaway from it all on board Norwegian Cruise Line's ship, Norwegian Breakaway. The 8-night cruise left from New York City to the Bahamas. But these red marks aren't a sunburn. Lynn Marie Adams says she was covered with bites from bed bugs on board.
So Sunday into Monday, when I woke up on Monday morning, is when I noticed that for my face. And then every night thereafter, there was more popping up.
Adams says she talked to the woman who cleans her room, but could not connect with a supervisor at guest services.
And anytime you try to dial 00, it would ring so much that it would start to either ring busy or disconnect. But if you were standing in line at guest services with 100 other people at any given time throughout the 8 nights, if the desk is busy, they just pick up the phone and hang it right up.
She says she didn't see a doctor on board because they demanded payment up front, which is common practice on cruise ships.
I said, I'm not paying $200 out of pocket when I'm trying to bring to your attention what could be a serious matter.
But when she got home, a telehealth visit confirmed the bites were consistent with bed bugs.
And she saw all of the bites, and she claimed that it was everything that she saw in the story behind it was consistent with bed bug bites.
Afraid of bringing them home, she followed all the recommended precautions.
So we brought spray, we went to a local laundromat, and we had to keep everything in containers in our basement and for over a week to make sure.
She tried to contact the cruise line's corporate office, but that her complaints were dismissed. The cruise line wrote in a statement, quote, "Our records indicate that this illness was never reported to our medical office or to our guest relations desk," unquote. It continued that whenever illnesses are reported, medical staff makes every effort to attend to them.
Well, Adams, who has taken many cruises over the years, says she's now seeing a psychologist to deal with the emotional toll that the vacation has taken on her mental and physical health. Well, also on the Health Watch today, how stroke recovery can be different for men and women and how your mental health could impact your heart. Michael George has the day's top health stories.
People with depression and anxiety face a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and a new study looks at the reason. Research from Mass General Brigham shows that stress-related brain activity caused by depression and anxiety is linked to heart disease. Researchers say the findings reinforce that mental health and physical health are closely connected, and doctors and patients need to address both. Women may face a more difficult recovery after a stroke than men. A University of Michigan study found that within the first year following a stroke, female patients struggled more with daily tasks like eating, dressing, driving, and cooking. There were no gender differences in other aspects of stroke recovery, including communication, neurological function, and performing simple movements. Nicotine is bad for your heart and circulatory system no matter how you consume it. Research published in the European Heart Journal found whether nicotine is vaped, smoked, or from a pouch, it's toxic to the heart and blood vessels. The information comes at a time when more young people are trying nicotine, fueled by the popularity of e-cigarettes. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
Well, Boston University is announcing the results of an independent review months after an influential podcaster said she was sexually harassed while playing soccer there. This past summer, Alex Cooper, the host of Call Her Daddy podcast, released a documentary, and in it, she accused a former BU soccer coach of inappropriate behavior. Months later, the university says the third-party review found ways to improve how complaints are handled in the athletic department. The state's highest court will take on the lawsuit filed over the redevelopment of Boston's White Stadium. The Globe reports the Supreme Judicial Court has officially added the case to its docket. The lawsuit was filed by the Emerald Necklace Conservancy. The organization and neighbors say the move to make White Stadium the home for Boston's new women's soccer team would harm the Franklin Park neighborhood and hurt students who use the facility. Still to come on CBS News Boston, our Steve Burton and ESPN's Mike Reese discuss where the Pats' injuries could affect them the most against the Ravens.
Welcome back, folks. Let's talk about the weather forecast here. A little ice outside, but also a whole lot of sunshine and beautiful blue skies. Light winds also moving into the region as well. We're just above the freezing mark at 33 degrees outside right now. Winds are fairly light, but also a bit varied as well. They're going to become even more gusty as we go throughout the overnight hours and certainly ahead for our Friday. We'll talk about that. But this is what the current temperatures look like and even feel like outside as of right now. Courtesy of those light winds, we don't have a major wind chill outside this morning. Pair of threes here in the city. It really kind of falls off if you get north and west of 95 again this morning northbound. About 21 degrees north over in Bedford and about 21 also in Nashua. A few degrees warmer in Fitchburg at around 26 to 28 degrees between Fitchburg and also Worcester, and also the mid to lower 30s out on the island of Nantucket and also the Outer Cape. So the forecast highs will be racing upwards here, going into the upper 40s later on today, right around 50 degrees. My forecast for Boston is about 48 degrees. We hit 47 yesterday at Logan Airport. And even if we make it to around 49 to perhaps even 50 degrees, I think it's actually going to be pretty nice for us here before we get that colder weather moving back in. Hey, we also have a high wind warning going into effect for tomorrow morning, mainly for the Cape and even the islands, and also a wind advisory for the remainder, at least the rest of the Commonwealth, reaching up into the Granite State of New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and even far south as Connecticut. What are we talking about? Well, we're going to be tracking a windswept rainfall type of day for us here to close out the work week, the final work week before the Christmas holiday next week. That is prompting a next weather alert because we're expecting some pretty heavy and steady rain, and also the risk for street flooding as well, with astronomical tides running fairly high this upcoming weekend. The wind gusts will also be a major threat for the islands as well as the Cape again as we get into the afternoon for us tomorrow. Again, take a look at the temperatures yesterday. It certainly was a bit of relief, certainly from the cold weather we've been receiving all across the region for the month of December. We're watching two areas of concern, one in the deep south and also one crawling through the upper Midwest. Both of them will help to marry and also ignite a string of some very heavy rain and also some very warm temperatures. Winds are going to be racing out of the south, friends, so we're actually not going to be cooling off too significantly overnight tonight. I think it actually could get down to around 40 degrees overnight before we actually near 60 degrees for us tomorrow. Rain showers will become heavier as we near the late morning, also into early afternoon hours for tomorrow. Cold front will push off of the coast, and then we'll start to get that drag of much colder conditions to move back in. A little bit of precip behind the frontal boundary to ignite a few flakes and perhaps even a wintry mix as we close out on Friday. So again, keep that top of mind. Even though the rain will be moving out, there's a threat for ice and very dangerous conditions by tomorrow evening. After that, though, rain showers, any sort of rain chance really falls off down to near zero by the time we get to the end of the weekend heading into next week. But look at this wall of water pushing into the region around mid to late morning hours tomorrow. Pretty steady at times, but also pretty blinding at times with that driving rain. This is going to be the cold front you can see is really going to be going out with a bang there. Line will be roaring before the lamb moves back in by tomorrow evening behind that frontal boundary. So we're going to keep that wind advisory in effect at least through tomorrow evening from National Weather Service. As we close out the final day of fall on Saturday, winter solstice officially kickstart the winter season there for us at 10:03 on Sunday morning. And what a day it will be on Monday for the first full day of winter, keeping our temperatures in the upper 20s in the afternoon before warming up to around 40 degrees on Christmas Eve. And we want to remind everybody, the Weather Watchers platform has been revamped. It is gorgeous here. If you are aspiring to be a weather watcher, or if you have been a weather watcher, you need to register with a new account. It's brand new. It's fresh. We ask that you go to WBZ.com/WWN to sign up. And of course, it will show your reports right here on air.
Well, the Patriots are going into Sunday night showdown against the Ravens as underdogs. Baltimore is favored by 3 points. 5 Patriots players were missing from practice yesterday, including Marcus Jones and Robert Spillane, who was spotted in a walking boot. As for the Ravens, they practiced yesterday without quarterback Lamar Jackson, who's dealing with the flu. Baltimore's coming off a shutout win over the Bengals. They are 6-2 in their last 8 games. Cornerback Christian Gonzalez says the Pats need to contain whatever Baltimore is bringing on Sunday night.
They got a lot of talent on the outside, so just as an offense, their offense as a defense is going to be a challenge, and we're excited for it.
Last night on Patriots First Downer, Steve Burton caught up with ESPN's Mike Reese to discuss the upcoming battle between Drake May and Lamar Jackson and where the injuries could hurt the Patriots the most against the Ravens.
The concern for me would be the run defense, Steve. You know, the Bills really pushed him around, I thought, in the second half of that game. Robert Spillane, the linebacker, was in the locker room, and he's sitting in front of his locker. He's got a medical boot on his left foot, and he looks up at Jelani Tavai as they're going out to practice, and he says, lead them. You know, lead the guys. So,
like I'm not going to be there leading?
Like, well, certainly not at practice,
like
right? Today, we'll. I think the next 2 days will be telling on that
one. The guy's in a boot on a Wednesday, Mike.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good.
And that he was on the sideline for the game against the Bills and then didn't play. So, and he's the best leading tackler, best run defending linebacker. So that's the one, Steve, that I'm keeping an eye on. You know, Carlton Davis, as Nick mentioned, the cornerback, Marcus Jones, number 3 cornerback, also weren't there. But to me, those felt a little more like maintenance days, but we'll get more information as the week goes.
And on Baltimore's side, you got Lamar Jackson, who didn't practice. He stayed home because of the flu.
Yeah, and I don't read anything into it because he's gone like 6 weeks this year, not practicing on a Wednesday, and then he comes out and plays.
And then lights it up.
And I mean, not necessarily. Like, he's been up and down this year. Yeah. But, Steve, this is a desperate team that the Patriots are playing, so they're going into a tough situation.
All right. We shall see. Pats, they lost to the reigning NFL MVP last Sunday, Josh Allen. This week, they'll be facing 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Now, Drake May is one of the frontrunners for this year's award. He was asked if he cares about that conversation.
You know, the MVP it's obviously one of the big accolades for this league, and it's something that it's an honor as a player to earn their award, and I respect all the past MVPs. But I think at the end of the day, winning the Super Bowl is the biggest thing, and I think it's what kind of makes this league go is winning the big one, and that's what you work towards, and that's what this game's about. I love winning, and the personal accolades come with all that, but I'd rather win than win personal awards, and I hope people in that locker room, I know a lot of them feel the same way.
Yeah, and you know what? I believe him.
Yeah,
I believe what he says.
Yeah,
obviously you care. You care if you win it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything you want to win anything.
You want to win anything.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture is winning as a team. And
no
that's
doubt.
Who your quarterback is.
Hey, Steve, I was standing next to Drake's locker, and he walked over, and I said, hey, I'm just bringing a little light over here. How you doing? He goes, hey, don't need it. This is the National Football League. We just move on. Just move on to the next game. You're going to lose sometimes in the NFL. And I think that I relay that, Steve, because I think that was sort of reflective of the team as a whole. Being in the locker room, Steve, I thought they were loose. I thought they were light. I didn't sense there was anything of the disappointment of the second half from the Bills game, which really was a bummer, right? After they played a good first half, So I thought that to me was interesting, pretty upbeat, from the locker room today.
I think Drake, after having that great first half, you look at him in the second half, and the whole offense just stalled.
Yes.
Okay, it just stalled. He's got to be able to bring his team forward, especially in the second half, and keep the intensity alive.
Yes.
He's got to be able to bring it, and even when his team is faltering, a great quarterback is able to take it to another level.
And I think that was a big part of the conversation in the Bills game, Steve. He had a great opportunity, 2 drives, to lead them down the field, and they couldn't get it done. I thought execution-wise, they were a little off.
Hey, no question. In the last drive, the last play of the game was like, blah. It's like, I know. That's how this thing's going to end, with that little...
The Bills did a great job not letting him run. I think it would have been hard for Drake to run there.
After all that, that's how we're doing
this? I know.
It's all right. We shall see.
Well, remember to start your Sunday with Patriots Game Day at 11:30 here on WBZ. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m., followed by the 5th quarter on TV 38 right after the game. Coming up in the next hour, we will be carrying the sentencing for Brian Walsh, the Cohasset man convicted of first-degree murder for killing his wife, Anna. We'll also hear victim impact statements as well. You can watch that right here on CBS News Boston. Good morning. It's 8:53. I'm Brianna Pitts. We'll have today's top stories. But first, meteorologist Jason Michael is here with a look at your next weather forecast. Jason, we are warming up. It's going to come with some wet weather, though.
Yeah, it's going to come at a cost here. We're talking about heavy and also steady rain moving into the region here over the next 24 hours, just above the freezing mark in the city of Boston as of right now here, friends. But also we're expecting milder conditions later today under plenty of sunshine. Wind advisory also going into effect for tomorrow, along with a high wind warning out on the Cape. We're expecting nearing 60-mile-per-hour gusts for tomorrow. Rain showers begin to ramp up overnight tonight to likely impact your morning rush hour commute. Most of the heavy rain will be arriving around mid-morning for us tomorrow, spilling over into the early afternoon with colder air coming in behind the front. Could actually be some rumbles out of this thing here by early afternoon tomorrow. We could also have a little bit of wintry mix as the system pulls away by Friday night, so be careful if you have any sort of outdoor plans or maybe you have any sort of plans out on the town by Friday evening. It will be the final day of fall happening for us on Saturday. Winter solstice officially begins on Sunday morning. We'll be in the mid-40s, and the first full day of winter will be locked and loaded in the upper 20s for daytime highs. And as we look for Christmas Eve, looks like it'll be around 40 degrees, Brianna.
All right, Jason, let's get a check of those travel times out the door. 34 minutes, Braintree to Boston, almost 40 minutes into the city on 93 South, 47 on the Pike, 15-minute ride getting up Route 24. We are now 6 days into the search for the Brown University shooter, and investigators are now trying to identify another person spotted near the incident. Here are your top stories. According to the Providence Police Department, the person in these images was seen in close proximity to the person of interest. Police say the suspect Police say they suspect that they may have been in close proximity near the corner of Benevolent and Cook Streets. Brookline police are also asking for patience as they try and find the person who shot and killed an MIT professor inside of his home. Nuno Larrea was killed on Monday night, and police have not released any information about a possible suspect. Neighbors tell us they are desperate for answers.
It's terrifying that there's somebody still out there and that our children and our community is just expected to walk around and continue like everything's normal. It's not normal.
Larrea was a father of 3. He was originally from Portugal. He's worked for MIT since 2016. A wild scene in Nashua, New Hampshire yesterday after a small plane crashed in the middle of a neighborhood. It clipped the roof of a house before crashing into a parking lot, landing upside down. We actually spoke to a man who helped pull the pilot to safety.
He pulled the buckle himself, and when he fell, I asked him to move his legs. So am I okay to move you? All I knew is that he just needed to get out of the plane because I saw the fuel dripping and all I could smell was fuel.
Police say the pilot is expected to survive. It's not yet clear what caused the crash. Police are investigating an act of vandalism in South Boston. They say multiple American flags honoring war veterans were torn up, thrown on the ground at the Farragut statue on Broadway and the Korean War Memorial on Castle Island. Local veterans say the damaged flags will be replaced. Anyone with information on the vandalism is being urged to call police. Well, this has been a WBZ News update. If you are watching us on CBS News Boston, we'll be back in a few minutes. Have a great day.